Hello and welcome to today's video where we're going to cover some underrated players from 2023. This is not to say that these players are the best in their role, because outside of maybe a couple of them, I would probably say there's like a handful of players here that are probably like, I would say top 10 in their role, top 15 or so. Now, I used the entire season on this board. Some of these players were better in one split compared to the other, which is what earned them a spot on this board. If you look back at the stats and you really think about it, I feel like most of these players really overperformed at times, or at the very least, performed better than the scrutiny they receive, if you will. There are some players on here that I feel like get a lot of heat, but actually statistically put up good numbers. And I think it's a perceiving thing that people do as fans and haters, that they let their emotion get the better of them and they exaggerate and they get hyperbolic and silly, instead of actually just looking at what is actually being put out, right? So we have 20 players on here, one in each role from each region, trying to get the most underrated player statistically. There are only, you see behind my arm here, I had to fit Chow Chow over here, which is going to surprise a lot of people. Why is Chow Chow the support? But we'll get to that towards the end. Doodoo from the Freak. So KDF Doodoo is a very good player. He's been an underrated player since being with HLE. Very, very strong. And a lot of people don't give him the credit he deserves. He's been on shit teams, but 83 games. 2-2 KDA. A lot of players on here died a lot, trying very hard. 56.7 KP, 8.8 CS per minute, so gets fed, is involved. 22.4 gold share, 477 damage per minute, was about 23% of KDF's damage, so not dealing a ton of damage, but was involved. Dying a lot, going in for his team. On average at 15 minutes, ahead of LCK tops. 135 gold, 6 CS, 50 XP, 22 solo kills in 83 games, and only 13 champions played. Invincible from Ninja in Pajamas. So a rookie that a lot of people kind of overlooked because of YSKM. So 82 games, 2-2 KDA as well, 52 2KP, 8-3 CS per minute. So not as dominant as Doodoo, but Invincible actually had a very strong split in the LPL. 21.9 gold share, 510 damage per minute, 24.8% of Nips damage in that one. So 25%. I mean, that's almost secondary carry like. He and whether it was Angel, Pout, or Dream splitting time. And 16 champions played. LPL doesn't give us the best stats. Sisgenda from Koi. I thought he had a great year. Really surprised. In 51 games, 2-2 KDA, but a 57.3 KP, 8-1 CS per minute, 22 gold share, 502 damage per minute, 23.4 damage share. Some real pop-off performances from Sisgenda during the season. I thought that at moments he was Koi's best player, and blew out lane opponents. In the first 15 minutes, on average, he's up 235 gold, 13 CS, 210 XP, 16 solo kills, 14 champions played. The splits at 15 minutes are the eye-opener. That's where it really goes to show you just how good he was in the 1v1. Someday, so very different than the other three players. Someday is ancient, but he actually had a good year between EG and 100 Thieves. 48 games, 3-3 KDA, about 52 KP, 8-3 CS per minute, 21.4 gold share, 409 damage per minute, under 20% of damage, so wasn't super involved, which is probably why his teams ended up losing. He was getting gold, but not actually using that gold to deal damage. On average, down 10 gold, 4 CS, 30 XP, 14 solo kills, 12 champions played. You're going to find with the LCS, sometimes it is hard to find players to put on here because they're kind of all performing the way you'd expect they would. LCK Junglers, I can't believe I'm putting Umpty on here from Brion. So, in 89 games, he had a 2.5 KDA, 77.1 KP. He was one of the strongest facilitators in LOL Esports for major regions this past year, in my opinion. He was excellent in that regard. really, like, not many junglers were as involved as Umpty was. Brion played through him. 5.4 CS per minute, which is notable. So on average, he's behind in gold because he's so involved. But 18.4 gold share, 288 damage per minute, 15.5 damage share. Those are pretty standard. And at 15 minutes, he wasn't all that far behind across the whole year. 60 gold was all it was. He was still up 1 CS, down 15 XP. Only 7 solo kills, but it's a jungler, and 15 champions played. Zhao Hao, truly an underrated player, in my opinion. Not even, I think Dudu's underrated, Invincible, says Genda. But Zhao Hao, I really do feel is one of the most underrated players that we're going to find in his role in LOL Esports. Anyone's legend absolutely suck. But in 80 games, he had a 3 KDA, 77 KP, 5.6 CS per minute. So getting above average gold, getting involved, 19.4 gold share, 325 damage per minute, over 16% of damage, and 15 champions played. Zhao Hao should have been one of the most sought after, junglers in free agency in the LPL. Peach from Excel. These stats are only summer. A lot of people criticizing Peach. I thought Peach played pretty well. I feel like a lot of people wanted to compare him to Malrung, but you're going to find out these stats are not like Malrung. So 34 games, 3.3 KDA, 76 KP, 5.6 CS per minute. So already we know he's not Malrung. He's actually getting farm. 18.5 gold share, 364 damage per minute, which is a lot for a jungler. 15 damage share. And on average at 15 minutes, he was getting his gold. He was getting his farm. Where you're going to find that other Malrung didn't do that. 50 gold up, 8 CS, 220 XP, 3 solo kills, only 10 champions played in the end. Excel didn't get it done. But Peach, I thought, played better than people give him credit for. And then Pioshik from Team Liquid, he actually played very well. Eye test-wise, left a lot to be desired in some flanking and things like that, going and picking jungle mushrooms or whatever the fuck he was doing sometimes. But at Worlds, he was excellent. In the regular season, he was excellent. So 63 games played, 3.6 KDA, 72 KP, 5.7 CS per minute, 19% of the team's gold, 348 damage per minute, 15% of damage. On average against LCS junglers, up 285 gold, 5 CS, 255 XP, so getting ahead makes sense. 12 solo kills, 15 champions played. A lot of people giving Pioshik shit because he didn't dominate, but we see a lot of Korean imports not dominate after going to the LCS, taking a vacation. There's just a lot of reasons why they take a step back. Closer, an excellent player, very underrated for Live Sandbox, a great laner. 91 games played, 2.7 KDA, 64 3 KP, so not super involved, only under 2 out of every 3 kills. But 9.4 CS per minute. Yes, that's like Chovy-like. That's super high. 22.9 gold share, 538 damage per minute, and 27.4% of damage. So he is dealing secondary damage according to the gold and according to the farm. Up 50 gold, 4 CS, 140 XP at 15 minutes, 19 solo kills, 18 champions played. UCal for Thunder Talk, an excellent year. Thunder Talk, one of my guilty pleasures. 81 games played, 4 KDA, 71 2 KP, 8.9 CS per minute in the LPL. 23.4 gold share, that is huge. That is secondary carry-like. 551 damage per minute, 27.2 damage share, 19 champions played. Thunder Talk obviously being a disaster in some aspects, UCal being the only consistent one there, and he was consistent relative to LPL mids all year long. Leader for Astralis, so he didn't play the whole year, but he's on the list. So died a lot, 25 games, 2 KDA. 65 2 KP, so under 2 out of every 3 kills, but farmed well at 8.7. 23.1 gold share, 532 damage per minute, and nearly 26% of damage. So one of the more resource-heavy mid laners, and did deal quite a bit of damage with it. And big thing, just like Sisgenda, at 15 minutes, he's ahead of LEC mid. So in the 1v1, he is getting ahead. Up 230 gold, 7 CS, 130 XP, 6 solo kills, which actually was a surprise. You'd think he would have gotten more given his style, and 13 champions played. Palafox NRG. This was hard. I feel like Palafox is actually appropriately rated right now, but when you look at the top performing mids in the LCS in both splits, Palafox is there, and I feel like he's actually, I think the only, JoJo and him are the only two that actually were in my upper tier of the stats for both. So, Palafox, 72 games, 4.5 KDA, 72 KP, 8.7 CS per minute, so facilitator, but still getting above average gold, doesn't die a ton. 23-2 gold share, 641 damage per minute. That's over 100 more than UCal, and 100 more than leader, almost 100 more than UCal and closer. That's 28% of NRG's damage, so he was pretty much the primary carry at times. Up 20 gold, down 2 CS, 35 XP up, 25 solo kills in 72 games, and 22 champions played. Had a champion Ocean at times. In the bot lane, we have Aiming. So Aiming, I think, is an excellent AD carry, one of the best in the world, has been one of the best statistically, and therefore underrated for a few years now. 119 games, so all year long, 119 games played and still put up a 7 KDA, 71 1 KP, 10-3 CS per minute, nearly 26% of the team's gold, so he was the carry for them. 598 damage per minute, 29.4% of damage. On average, he wasn't actually ahead in CS. At 15 minutes, up 210 gold, 240 XP, but then would find his farm in the mid to late game. 16 solo kills, 14 champions played. Fodic from Ninja in Pajamas. I think Fodic is excellent. His Senna is the best in the world. And also, he's just a very, very talented player. 83 games played, 3.2 KDA, 68.1 KP, 9.6 CS per minute. He's one of the players that was stronger in one split versus the other. 24.9 gold share, 608 damage per minute, about 28.6% of damage, and 16 champions played. So Fodic also on the list, being the most underrated LPL AD carry right now. And this is just based off of this year's stats, so keep in mind if you're thinking, oh, well, this player's good all the time, but were they the best this year versus other players? I mean, got to think about it a bit. Crowny from BDS. So he had a great split. A lot of people think he's overrated, but I thought he had a great year. Sorry, not split. 83 games, 4.6 KDA, 68.8 KP, 10.1 CS per minute, so ahead, big time. 25.3 gold share, 594 damage per minute is 28.6% of damage. So gets gold, deals damage. Up 125 gold, 5 CS, 140 XP, 6 champions played, 6 solo kills, 15 champions played. Obviously, BDS struggling at Worlds, but then again, not many people expected them to get there, myself included. Double lift from 100 Thieves. So he had a great last year. He was all that 100 Thieves had at times. More often than not, all they had. 51 games, 3.8 KDA, 77 KP pretty much. So if it wasn't around DL, 100 Thieves weren't getting kills. 10-2 CS per minute, nearly 26% of the team's gold over the entire season. 627 damage per minute, over 30% of the team's damage. Up 54 gold, 4 CS, 170 XP, 7 solo kills, and only 9 champions played. So playing alongside Busio. Busio's obviously an excellent player with a bright future. But Double Lift had a great year, once again, statistically. A lot of people probably don't even realize it, so focused on saying, oh, he's old and this or that, but he actually statistically was very strong. Cal, I think Cal is an excellent player. I was just saying Busio has a bright future. I think Cal has a bright future. Cal has been very good for quite a few splits now, and a lot of people give him some crap, but honestly, I think when you think about it, he had 3 different 80 carries in the last 4 splits, last 3 splits, and he has been consistent in my opinion. So, 91 games, 3 KDA, 73 7 KP, 177 damage per minute, 3.4 vision scored per minute, placed 8 wards down every 5 minutes, about 3 control wards every 5 minutes, cleared nearly a ward every other minute, and had 24 champions played. He had a champion Ocean. Cal is excellent. One of the youngest supports in the major regions as well. LPL, we have Chow Chow. So FPX, the stats aren't as prevalent, so I could fit him over here. 61 games played, 3-2 KDA, 77 1 KP, 151 damage per minute, and played 16 champions in 61 games. A lot of people probably think, well, he was alongside LWX, he held LWX back, this, that, and third. But relative to other supports in the LPL statistically, he did pretty well. You could say that there are a very limited amount of stats, which is why he does look as good as he is, and I think you could agree. Please advocate for the LPL to give us all some of the nice stats. Zhang Hun from Astralis, actually replacing Cal, ironically enough. 42 games played, 2-4 KDA, 72-4 KP. Did die a lot, but he was pretty much all Astralis had at times in terms of creating. 194 damage per minute, 307 vision score per minute. Placed about 9 wards every 5 minutes, 2 control wards as well. Cleared 1 ward every 3 minutes, and 13 champions played. Lastly, old players. So it's kind of funny. We look at this, and 3 of the 5 LCS players are ancient. Core JJ put up another great year. Team Liquid, 63 games, 3-4 KDA, 70.9 KP. Alongside Yeon, by the way, just keep this in mind. 143 damage per minute. Still found a way to get 3.34 vision score per minute. Placing just almost 8 wards every 5 minutes, so placed less wards than Zhang Hun and Cal, and almost had the same vision score as Cal. When you really think about Yeon was on Struggle Street. And not only that, Core put down 2 control wards every 5 minutes and actually cleared almost 1 ward every other minute. So efficient with his gold, and 20 champions played in 63 games. He's still an excellent player. And you know, a lot of people probably don't even realize it because they saw how bad Yeon was and then thought, oh, well, Core must stink too. So, you know, a lot of these players, people are going to say they stink. These are just stats. Stats don't matter. This, that, and the third. And it's like, fine, well, you know my channel by now. So you clicked on it and you gave me a view. And you're going to boost it in the algo by bitching in the comments, which I really enjoy. And, yeah, so that's my 2 cents on that. Thank you for watching. If you liked the video, like it. Subscribe to the channel for daily League of Legends content. Follow me on Twitter. Join the Discord. Become a YouTube supporter. And hope to see you again tomorrow.